In recent years, a formidable competitor appears in Islamic religious circles. As East Asian country, which Islamic State always felt as a colleague, edges out Muslim country with a technologically wide gap to the extent to come into rank with the West. Islamic country became economically humiliated. Islamic country is on the verge of guard tightening for East Asian religions such as Confucianism and Buddhism, which have not ever attracted Muslims' notice before. In the West, it has been long since East Asian religion spread. The number of the Western people who prefer immanent religions like Confucianism and Buddhism to transcendent religions like Christianity and Islam is on the increase today. The population of Buddhists in France has already passed over 4 million, and the eminent French philosopher François Julian said the only exit of Western philosophy is in dialogue between Western philosophy and East Asian philosophy, like Confucianism and Buddhism. Muslims feel humiliated by East Asian blitz, economic expansion. Muslims come to envy East Asian economic success because the countries in East Asia were the ex-colonies like Muslims' countries. Muslims came to compete with two rivals, the Western and the East Asian, and came to be put in a position fighting with no supporter internationally. Jasmine revolutions. The recent popular uprisings in the Arab can be understood in relation with the economic success of East Asia, but there is no country in the world who wants Muslims humiliated. Muslims regards their problem, their authentic ones, even though East Asia already experienced and solved the problem. East Asians thinks that the reason that East Asia looks composed far better than Muslims countries is the conflict of religion between Islam and Christianity. In the ancient times, East Asia could solve the conflict of 3 East Asian religion: Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, and even in the modern times, East Asia could solve the conflict of Eastern religions and Christianity. This report aims to help Muslims overcome the present problem by introducing religion circulation theory by East Asian religion, Dasun Jinri, based on I Ching, Yin Yang, and Wuxing theory. It is the task set to this report for Muslims to find a religious way to overtake the West and East Asia. Muslims can build better relationship with East Asian than with the West, due to the history. However, there is few transaction between Islam and East Asian religion, because Islam do not share much with Eastern immanent religion. The study that immanent religion and transcendental religion are auxiliary to each other, Islam and East Asian transaction increased. Spain can be a successful example to show what cooperation of Islam and Christianity results. Spain's contribution to the world by geographical discoveries came from cooperation of Islam and Christianity, especially Islam's generosity. Today Christianity became too complicated and developed to be changed by only generosity. Islam needed new culture like East Asia to be well with Christianity. Islam and East Asian religions have a lot in common, though Islam is a transcendent religion, and East Asian religions are inherent religions. Islam has a lot of Oriental cultural elements, for Islam is located in geometrical two-fold position. Islam is regarded West in East Asia, but Islam is regarded East by the West. Though Christianity and Islam believes the same transcendental God in common, but Christians living in the cold area worship hot sun and Muslims living in the hot area worship cold moon. For yin, like moon, circles and repeat, and have the regularity. Islam, like East Asia, have the tradition of daily repetent meditation and itinerary of the sacred rites. The chief element of success that Islam prevails in West Asia, overtaking Judaism and Christianity, is found in Islam's meditative character, which Judaism and Christianity lacks. Islam sticks to mediation principle, so anyone can believe Islam regardless of one's nation, race, sex, science. Islam's mediative character could integrate the different culture which were struggling with each other, such as Persian, Rome, Judaism. Emphasis on mediation in East Asia could maintain the harmony of 3 religion. Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism. Islam also has always tolerated in quarrel with Christianity. Islam stress inherent practice such as moral practice and no idolatry. Islam formed from a practical relationship like a commercial transaction. Underlying practice shown as the theocracy law of Sharia. 3 religion. Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism also played a role of an unwritten rule in East Asia, as is shown in that Lakouri's theory. Hundi, East Asian ancestor came from Babylonia, was mainstream of Western Chinese history study 100 years ago. East Asia and Islam resembles each other deeply. The mathematics of ancient Babylonia were based on a sexagesimal system. Ibn Khaldun, Islam's most famous historian, claimed an circular historical view like Plinius in Rome and Toynbee in England, contrary to an unilinear historical view. Ibn Khaldun's circular historical view looks similar to a theory of Chuyan in China, regarded as the inventor of history theory, based on yin-yang and the five elements theory. Actually, the fact that Islam honor moon and the name of the Red Sea, the Black Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, corresponds to yin-yang and the five elements theory. Muslim men wears white, which represent metal, yang contrary to black, while Muslim women wears white, which represent water, yin contrary to white. The yellow color of sand in the desert. Muslims color complete color harmony based on yin-yang and the five elements theory, which consisted of red, blue, white, black, and yellow. Though it is not well known, Zoroastrianism in Sassanid Persia builded a religional canon of Islam, Buddhism, Christianity. The difference between Islam and East Asia based on yin-yang and the five elements theory is that East Asia, with distinct first season, emphasize the first season's circulation, while Islam respect moon due to distinct day and night. Yin-yang and the five elements theory is minimum system which can organize things mutually exclusively and collectively exhaustively. According to the relations perspective that all things are relations, five elements only can be minimum system of mutual positive and negative relation. 4 and 6 cannot comprise such a MECE system. Therefore, according to the relations perspective based on yin-yang and the five elements theory, yin-yang and the five elements is immanent. Five elements, working like energy, can be the concept of time-space. Things consisted of energy such as spring, summer, autumn, winter. In yin, religions are also categorized to spring, summer, autumn, winter, and that adopts equally to Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity and Islam. If yin-yang and the five elements theory is adopted to religion, Confucianism, full of forwarding energy, corresponds to spring, Buddhism autumn, Taoism, Islam winter, Christianity summer. On the same way, East Asia and Islam find a new collaboration way by means of yin-yang and the five elements theory. Islam and Taoism shares much in common. The reason Islam and East Asia needs each other is two of them lose their virtual slums over transcendism, is apt to leaning toward fundamentalism, and East Asia's over inherentism have a tendency to sting to mad. Islam's over flourishing yin result in self-persistent main culture change to be closed. East Asia has been losing their religion to Maoism for a long time. The problem East Asia and Islam have in common is lack of circulation. Fail of circulation result in loss of openness of religion. Utilizing each other's merit can restore circulation. East Asia, compared to Islam, has relatively longer nationalism state and breakthrough of religion strife tradition by yin-yang and the five elements theory. At first, for longer nationalism state, East Asia, though unwell known, has the longest history of nationalism state. The history of state of Europe have not passed yet 300 years, and state of Islam also have the history which have not passed yet 1,500 years since history of Islam starts when Islam outbreak. East Asia have not nearly experienced religion strife throughout the long history. Religion which occurred many strife in the West, have not stir strife in Croatia, China, and Japan. On the contrary, East Asia have gone through political economical struggle. East Asia have a rich religious diversity. The Korean, Chinese, Japanese dreams Taoism manner educates in Confucian mode, died like Buddhist. Though long history, cyclic view of religion make few religious struggle. Once regarded as a byword of superstition, East Asian cyclic worldview became competent new science paradigm. The East Asia has the most distinctive four seasons in the world. The representative season decides preference of religion. Let's look into East Asian cyclic view of religion based on yin-yang wuxing theory. 1. Math-based formula of religion circulation based on yin-yang and the five elements theory. Religion, viewed by yin-yang and the five elements theory, can be understood deductively and historically with the symbolic and mathematical logic. Han Taedong of Korea symbolized Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, and Islam as follows. In Taoism, if a Tao is called Tao, the Tao cannot be Tao, and the weakest water is strongest. Therefore, Taoism can be symbolized transcendent object is individual object, and individual object is transcendent object. In Confucianism, if there are a king and his follower, king should play a role as a king, follower should play a role as a follower Tao. Therefore Confucianism can be symbolized transcendent object is transcendent object, and individual object is individual object. In Buddhism, all the distinction in the world is in vain. From the first, there is no discrimination, therefore Buddhism can be symbolized, there is no transcendent object, and no individual object from the start. As for Christianity, transcendent object loves individual object, so individual object can be all. Korea's pluralism, which regards Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, as a phase in a religion circle, interprets each religion's mathematical symbol, comparing the plant's life. Taoism matches winter for winter, and Taoism shares cryptozoic traits. Cryptozoic traits looks like phlegmatic temperature of the four temperament types and humorism theory of Islamic medicine, Avicenna, or Hippocrates. As cryptozoic year means the time Gaia, mother goddess of earth, guards her secrets carefully, and with increasing jealousy. Cryptozoic means living in concealed or secluded places, and looks like winter. The dogma of Taoism and Islam tends to condense all the power in things like DNA or seeds. Taoism, leaving nature as it is, admits contradiction of all the things peacefully, and waits for an opportunity till the opponents understands preparing the future. Therefore cryptozoicity in Taoism can be symbolized cryptozoic, things like winter DNA, and seeds can embrace paradox, as well as Islam's godliness, represented in Sha, Allah, results from embracing paradox, as Taoism embracing paradox, originates from respecting Taichi, the great ultimate, in contrast to Taoism's cryptozoic like winter. Confucianism, Taoism's formidable rival, resembles spring's propulsiveness. Propulsiveness means propellant, propelling, dynamical, like the plant penetrating the rock. Taoism, which tolerates all the paradox, blast winter's rock and rises, and start new beginning as classified yin and yang definitely. Define Taoism regarding all thing paradox. Confucianism divide area of the transcendence of human beings certainly, and create the moral world for only human. Therefore Confucianism, in which the transcendence belongs to the transcendence, and the human belongs to the human, can be symbolized spirituality grown up in spring shows hyperthermia temperament which outpours inner spiritedness. Like ponds of summer containing all other seasons trait, Christianity Trinity contains Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism, and pours outward. The dogma of Christians Trinity that God of Father, God of Son and God of Spirit is same, includes the dogma of Taoism, and canon of Confucianism. Therefore, the dogma of Christianity can be symbolized, can be everything. Like the leaves fall from the trees in autumn, seeds which fully expanded in summer, fell in autumn. Fall has the retirement trait which means to absent oneself, to camp, to deny oneself, to depart, to draw back, to hand over, to pull back, to recede, to withdraw, to yield, etc. For seeds to become seeds again and fall, the distinction between the transcendence and the individual has no more meaning. Buddhism, which deny the distinction between the transcendence and the individual for mandatory work, can be symbolized there is no X and X even though the symbolized formula of Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity is different each other. All the symbolized formula represents a phase of circle. Geography of religion circulation based on yin-yang and the five elements theory, shows religion of the world arrives according to yin-yang, and the five elements theory, by Tzu-Yen. Math-based formula of religion reflects traits of the region based on yin-yang, and the five elements theory, as well as known. yin-yang, and the five elements theory regards all the things holofractal circulation. The five elements of wood, fire, earth, metal, water can be applied to everything. For example, largely comparing the East and West, as the East represents wood and wood is compatible with the metal. Buddhism with metal trait broke out in the East, while the Christianity with fire trait was popular in the West. Detailed in the East, Confucianism with wood trait prevails in the China with earth trait, for earth is suppressed by wood, and native religion with earth trait spreads in north area with water trait because water is suppressed by earth. For the West, Islam with water trait can spread in the south with the fire trait, as the principle that water suppress the fire. Let's look for each religion's beginnings, as ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny, genetic explanation for the religion circulation based on yin-yang, and the five elements theory, shows religion circles in the order of animal embryology, Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Christianity, not in the order of botanical embryology. The same logic is shown in psychoanalysis and complex system dynamics science, which studies psychological and systemic circulation. In psychoanalysis, the physical ontogeny of human beings progress in the order of children, adolescents, adult, parents, but the spiritual ontogeny of human beings moves in the order of children, parents, adolescents, adult, owing to Oedipus complex. Oedipus complex is symmetric way of thought, it forgets father is his father. Also in complex system dynamics science, all things feedback themselves positively, negatively, and negative positive dually. Religion positive feedback pertain to Taoism, accelerating changes. Negative feedback pertains to Buddhism, reducing changes. Like the religion theory that all the religion began as a monotheism, East Asian religion at first began with monotheistic Taoism like Islam. So there is a theory that East Asian came from Islamic region. Ancient China worshipped Shangdi, heaven's emperor, before inherent Buddhism and Confucianism flourish. As population increased and heaven's order collapsed, inherent religion, which need not heaven's justification and have plenty of tolerance, happened to be epidemic. The reason that inherent religion like Buddhism occurred in East Asia is because the state of nationalism started 1,000 years before country of Islam and Christianity started. Christianity integrate transcendence and inherence by the theory of Trinity like the cross. From the point of system dynamics in the complex system theory, Christianity has all the feedback of positive, negative, and positive negative. The difference of Christianity and Islam as monotheism occur at this point. Christianity has all the feedback of positive, negative, and positive negative, while Islam has only the feedback of positive like Taoism. But Christianity's integration of verticalism and parallelism substitute dogma of inherent religion like karma and ancestor worship for father-son relationship of human God. 1. The similarities between the problem of Islam, Christianity, and Korea's demilitarized zone. Islam and East Asia have the common grounds in the sense that Islam have the religion problem with the Christianity, and Korea have the ideological problem with the DMZ. The sorts of problem in the two culture differs, the cause and solution could be the similar. The reason that two problems became more and more severe, both of the problem is brother problem, the difference from the one same origin. As the origin resembles, the desire to be close arise, the pain of the separation strengthen. The solution of the problem also could be same, that first recognition of each other's difference is followed by second communication of each other by the third party, then finally, trauma cured. Only circulation based on yin-yang and five elements theory can be the solution of the to long-term feud. As today's to soul problem-solving method, which are TRIZ, and Dasun Jinri's Nuiching and Semiconductor, shows on the basis of the yin-yang theory, the way to solve the contradiction of integration of the two separated from the one origin, is not but to be circulating Janus. As ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny, culture can develop when the parallel inherent religion overcome vertical transcendence religion, by integration of function without outshape. Islamic country and East Asia can integrate the two separated from the one origin, by communicating through the third party like semiconductor. Islamic country and East Asia, though neglected each other long, could have the opportunity to solve long-term problem by unintended dialogue. To make peace between Islam and Christianity, both of which assumes the relation of transcendence and individual is vertical and unsymmetric. Islam and Christianity need to include the relation of parallel and symmetric, East Asian relation. Islam, resembling Taoism, can improve the relation with Christianity through applying Buddhism and Confucianism. East Asian parallel religion helps Islam's parallel religion, helps East Asian parallel religion through mutual help of East Asia and Islam. Islam have the opportunity to solve long-term problem, while the East Asia can solve the problem of DMZ. Islam's determined mindset that accepts Christianity's parallel relation between transcendence and individual through bypassing East Asian inherent religion can result new understanding between Islam and Christianity. East Asia also can find a new way to reconcile the problem in economy and politics from the leaning of Islam's Sharia. A new dialogue between Islam and Christianity through East Asian religion, based on the yin-yang and five elements theory, will be effective way of conversation of the two religion. Islam and Christianity, which do not mix like water and oil, can mend fence by the principle of Taikai, based on Dasun Jinri, that fire comes from water and water comes from fire. Islam do not understand the value of Trinity. Christianity sticks to and regards Christianity's Trinity. Christianity's stubbornness to be discriminated from Islam. But according to East Asian yin-yang and five elements theory, the Trinity of Christianity has summer energy and can harmonize with winter energy of Islam via Confucianism and Buddhism. The relation between father and son can be symmetric and unsymmetrical. Islam, which emphasize verticalness, is winter's religion, and Christianity, which emphasize verticalness and parallels, is summer's religion. One example of new dialogue between Islam and Christianity through East Asian parallelism can be hijab. Hijab problem can be solved by the Disuns changing without artificial manipulation, or trizes functioning without frame based on yin and jiwuxing. Veiling paradoxically intrigue the man's improper sexual desire more severely. Actually, past East Asian woman also wears hijab, but recent East Asia without hijab have less problem with a man's improper sexual desire. East Asian new religion, Dasunjinri proclaimed yin-yang and five-element theory. Today's promising new science theory can be the way of peaceful pluralism of religion. Dajin University speaker belongs to is the university founded by Dasunjinri, Oregon. Islam has the deep capability to reconcile Christianity and East Asia. 99 Shape of Allah shows plenty of parallel elements of Islam. Islam can contribute to world more by retrieve potential parallels. The apparent severe difference of Islam, Christianity, and East Asian religion is the result of misunderstanding. Islam's mix of politics and religion may help Islam's change more rapidly. Islam already have the tradition of integration among Persia, Mediterranean and Arabia. Judaism. Islam utilize East Asian challenge as new opportunity of religions leaps.